So here we go. For those of you that aren't on, great. We're all set. Okay, and be muted. All right, great. We'll just start in a little music. If we just take a breath. Music for people, we love to just take a release. So it's a physical release. If you're at your phone, you can do that. If you see us, we just take our hands in front of our body, bring it up over our head, and a big breath and just let it go. David Darling started us this way for decades in music for people. So it's nice to begin in that way. Irene, I want to make sure, Irene, will you check and make sure you're not muted?
Can you hear me?
I can. So,
everyone hear me?
Welcome.
Welcome.
So this is our first Music for People webinar. We are very excited to share with you the work that we have loved for so many years. Again, I'm Mary Knysh. I am founder of my own business called Rhythmic Connections. And I have also been with Music for People for 30 plus years, a very long time. And this work has completely changed my life. I've been doing this work in 6 continents. We looked it up to see. I've been traveling for many years, sharing it with all ages and people from healthcare and education and across the board in community work. So we're happy to share with you some fundamentals tonight. Irene Feher is going to introduce herself in a moment. She will be also teaching with me, and we'll talk about it a little later, at our week-long workshop this summer in Fredonia, New York. And so, Irene.
Thank you, Mary. My name's Irene Feher. I'm from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. I teach at Concordia University in the Department of Music, and I also teach a music education course called Vocal Techniques at McGill University, Schulich School of Music. I began my work with Music for People in 2013, doing the Musicianship Leadership Program. And it transformed my life. It transformed the way I perform, the way I teach, and the way I live. And I'm just very excited to share this work with you. I've joined the Music for People faculty in 2018 and am just thrilled to be a part of the faculty, and am now launching. We had our first year of our Musicianship Leadership Program and satellite workshops here in Montreal.
Yay! So we wanted to begin, just go over some logistics tonight. Like I said, you're all on mute. When we get to question and answer, and we will have some time to take your questions a little later on. So we're very interested in your input. And as you go along, if things come to mind or questions come to mind, if you go down to the bottom, if you're new to Zoom, go down to the bottom and you'll see the chat bar. And if you click on the chat bar, you should be able to write a message to us. And so you can say, oh, let's see, may I record? Absolutely, yes. And Sally, we are recording and you will receive, yes, you all have permission to record, but know that we are recording as well. And we will send you the full recording when the call is done, okay? So I see a couple people asking that. And so absolutely, we've got it covered. We have some other giveaways that we'll be giving you. Yeah, of course, Sally, you're very welcome. So on the chat bar, you can communicate with us. You can put comments or questions as we go along. And I'll take a look as we come back, particularly when we get to question and answer, to make sure we can get to most of you and any of your questions or comments. This will be 1 hour.
Well, I will give you a little outline of our workshop. So we will begin with a small introduction about Music for People. And what we are very excited to share with you are 3 techniques that we use to get your class or your choir or your group making music, creating music within 3 minutes. Following this, we're going to outline 3 key facilitator tips, because it's not only about the techniques themselves, but how we embody them and present them. And then we want to leave a generous amount of time for questions and answers, because as we know, improvisation is now being introduced into the school curriculums. There is a demand to have more and more improvisation in the classroom. And so we are very well aware that there are many educators, conductors who are very interested in this topic, and where do we begin? So with this, let us commence. Mary will tell you a little bit about music for people.
All right. So I wanted to start and share with you 30 years ago, David Darling, who started this work, he really believed that this humanistic approach to music was a birthright that everybody should be able to embrace. And so the first instrument, and I'm going to show you, this is a bunt pan. And the first instrument he played when I met him was this bunt pan. And what he said was, when we authentically come from our center, he played the bunt pan, he said, if we try to be somebody else and we're not really being true to ourselves in our music, then we sound sort of like this. And then he put his hand in the middle of the bunt pan and he said, we are all full of music. And when he played the bunt pan, he went. And he had me from the bunt pan. I was just like, wow, this amazing, beautiful sound inside of each of us. And this idea that if we allowed ourselves to really relax into our beauty and authenticity, then we could discover very quickly, we said 3 minutes, we could discover immediately what lives inside. And so for me, it began with, what's the most natural rhythm that we all have, that we've heard from before we were born? Pulse, heartbeat. So I'd like to invite you to go through a process that we do at Music for People when we start a workshop. Just take one hand, and I'll have you join me, and connect, listening deeply to what's going on inside your body.
This is activity 1.
Activity 1, rhythm.
Heartbeat,
and
pulse.
Just connecting to pulse, taking a few breaths, and really meeting yourself where you are in authenticity. Take with the other hand, and I'm tapping. I have one hand connected for those of you calling in on the phone. I have one hand connected to under my neck, so I'm feeling pulse, under my chin, that main artery, and I'm tapping with the other hand what I'm feeling in the air. So I'm making this inner connection, listening deeply, the core of what we do, starting to move it. Rhythm is in movement. So if you take both hands now, once you've connected and tap them in the air, you'll find your authentic rhythm in the moment. And it's a beautiful way to recognize that we are all drummers. In the most natural way, we begin with the drum inside and bring it outside. Then take that and tap it on your legs. So now you begin to body drum. And still you're with that very authentic, natural sound. And the next thing I do is put it in my feet, because movement is the key to really embracing rhythm in the most full way that you can. So now you're stepping it. And I'm not going to stand up because you'll lose me on the screen, but the walking pace, if you are walking and feeling this rhythm, and if your students are moving the rhythm, then they will stay completely connected. And it's a beautiful way. So if you're not moving, you're likely to go right to your head and not your body. And so this movement is the key for me. If you're working with a group of children or any age participants, when you come to your legs, everybody has a different heartbeat. And so I invite the group to listen and find each other. And entrainment happens like that, within usually 30 seconds, less than a minute, your group will find a steady pulse, From that steady pulse, and I invite them to continue to breathe, I'm going to move it to a drum. So now you're in sound. Irene, I'm gonna mute you so we hear one drum, okay? Got it. And now one drum, and then you can drum along with me. And from this now, you have a foundation. You can drum or clap. You have a foundation to start to add another idea. But I'm still stepping pulse and starting to connect to what else, an adventure, what else is coming out. Still stepping, pulse is there. Immediately, pulse is grounding body in movement, and you can start to play with the space. Fill it in. Leave silence, but you're still tracking with your body. From this, I like to say, what am I feeling in a rhythm right now? What really captures my mood? I ask my students to do the same thing. What can the rhythm tell me about how I'm feeling? So immediately, body is still grounding pulse, and I'm starting to play with possibilities. So I say to students, let's go on a journey. What are the possibilities? They're still moving pulse with their feet. And on their drums, I say, go on a vacation. How many different places can you go? And then come back home. So home comes back to that initial pulse, that initial rhythm that you said, I love this so much, I can stay right there. Then I can go again. You can have students take turns going around the room while the group taps a home rhythm, something they agree upon, and each student has a chance to express, or each participant, what they're feeling in rhythm. It's a really beautiful exploration of sound and language possibilities on the drum, and can bring rhythm as long as it's grounded in body and began with this deep listening and connecting to who you are and what you're feeling in the moment. Attach movement to it so you're very grounded, very solid, and you're not thinking about it. And then start to explore and find rhythms that feel like, oh, that's how I feel now. That's an expressive rhythm. Locking it in, calling it a home rhythm. And then from home going, I'm going on vacation. What other possibilities are there to express in sound? And then coming back home. And it's a beautiful way to explore by yourself at home as a practice, and certainly in the classroom. Home rhythm helps students and anyone understand the way cultural grooves were arrived from cultures drumming about different things that they were doing in their life, whether it was a ceremony, a dance ceremony, a wedding ceremony, harvest celebration. Rhythms emerged from the culture. And so it's wonderful for you to find your cultural expressive rhythm. And movement for me is the key. Irene.
Thank you, Mary.
Wow.
So moving from, did you have me spotlighted on the screen?
I don't, but I will.
Okay.
Thank you for reminding me.
That's okay. We're
There
a
you
team here. So what you felt there was heartbeat to rhythm, finding our inner pulse and creating the group rhythm. So we have that one fundamental of music, pulse. And then we bring in tone. And of course, people are always terrified of their own voices. And I, after 25 years of teaching, over 25 years of teaching voice, I've seen fear at all levels. And I love it when I have a group of people and I just say, you are perfect the way you are. It's like walking into a party for the first time and you have your voice and you have your way. So what are you going to bring? So music for people, I think the thing that struck me most deeply was a one quality, two very key features, a one quality sound, which is expressing everything you are feeling at this moment of time, in that one sound. So I tell students, if you're feeling kind of tired, it can be, oh, as long as you express it fully. And the other concept of music for people is that there are no wrong notes. There are no wrong notes, only possibilities. And if we don't hear all the notes, how are we going to know all the notes exist? So we start in a group doing a one quality sound. So it's really nice the way we, I'm just going to show you very quickly how we would demonstrate this with a movement so that we can bring the whole group together. So usually before I have people make a sound, because they're already pretty nervous, is just practicing the breath. So from breath to sound, so without making a sound, I model, so I have both my hands out, and I model the gathering of my breath as I breathe in, and then as I let out my sound. And both my hands in front of me, showing that I'm offering my sound, and that it's perfect with the open hands the way it is. So I'll show you the whole thing together. So we connect the groups of students. So imagine I'm looking at the whole group and I say, okay, all together now, we're going to express exactly what each of us is feeling. And here's the big thing, stick with your one note. Don't correct it. Don't try to blend with anyone else. You're perfect the way you are. So all together, we come together, we're going to gather the breath.
Irene, we should unmute everybody and see what happens if we all do that together.
Oh, I'd love to try that.
We don't know what's going to happen. We haven't done this, but let's try it, everybody. So if you're game, let me just, okay, I'm going to unmute everyone just for fun. It might be crazy. Here we go. Irene, you'll lead us. I love it. Woohoo!
Woo! Yeah! And then we...
Uh-oh. Wait a minute, Irene. Hold on.
I've got it.
Oh, good. Thank you.
So we talk about energies. And so we think, you know, first of all, people are all really nervous. So I love to say, music for people, we have big energy. It's yay energy. It's the energy we educators feel when it's summer. It's yay energy. So we do a big yay all together with the students. So I give them a big 1, 2, 3. Yay! And usually we shake the whole classroom. And it's wonderful and everybody's laughing and having a great time. We might do a few of these in a row. And then we'll bring the energy right down, because when we go into ooh energy, the energy of listening, the energy of appreciation, the energy of wonderment, this changes everything. And I remind the students, remember, put everything you're feeling. If you're tired, if you're frustrated, if you're scared, if you're really happy, if you just got some really great news, if you've got the best secret you want to keep to yourself. So we check in with each other. Let's watch. We're going to follow. Let's move all together. Let's breathe. Choose another note. And let's see what mysterious new chords, so combinations of sounds arise. Keep it tender. Keep it in the realm of food.
Irene, can you turn your volume up a little? People are having a hard time hearing you.
Let me see if I can.
Sorry to interrupt.
Let me see.
While you're doing that, it's a beautiful idea to invite participants when you're working with a group to lead the one quality sound and really lead with the emotion that they're feeling. So they might go, or they might go, and it's beautiful to see the way people meet them where they are. Again, if the physicality of that emotion is brought out before, as they prepare and move into the one sound, everybody releases at the same time. It's quite a beautiful way to have groups really connect with the emotion of the person who's leading it.
Is my volume better now?
I can hear you all right.
Can everyone else hear me all right?
Give a thumbs up. Oh, still a little iffy, Kimberly? Okay. Just speak louder, Irene.
I'm speaking quite loud. Now am I audible?
Super.
Great. So then what we bring up is, how much can you do with one note? So breath to sound, but how much can you express in one note? Now, of course, I never want to single out students, especially in the beginning. But so when they work in a group, we create something. So we start to play with sound. So how much can I do with one sound? So if I play with my texture, ooh, yo, yo, I can play with my volume. Ooh, 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 ooh. I could pulse it. Ooh, 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 doo doo ooh, ooh, doo 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 doo. So I have the whole group connecting. So how much can you all do with your one notes? And keep that going and bring it down. And can you actually hear what's happening, how your one note composition is vibrating with the other one note compositions? And so through this, we start to lay down this connection and start to explore so many facets of music that are so beyond the notes. So we start to explore these ideas of texture and feel all in one note, and then combining this to create these really interesting chords or really interesting sounds that the group makes. I love to do this also with band. So when they bring in their instruments and they're really unsure, and the first time someone's playing a trumpet, but that trumpet player might have one fabulous note. So be a master of what you can play. Explore that note to the fullest. And it's amazing the sounds that start to come out, especially as they're exploring, and they get to try different notes and explore it in this interactive way. And it gives you, the educator, a chance, as you're observing what's happening, to learn about your students. And who are the shy students? Who are the students who just want to be heard over everybody? All of this through playing with one note, the one quality sound, breath to sound. Mary?
Yes, and I love hearing Irene talk about that. One of the games I love to play with all ages is one sound symphony. So with their instruments, the one sound that they love so much, we say, okay, we're going to take a breath, we're going to release, and you have one sound to add to the symphony, and that's it.
And let's put you in the spotlight, Mary, so they can see you.
Oh, thank you. Yep. So this idea that everybody gets just one sound and everyone takes a breath and clears the space so we know they're ready. And then you make your sound, woo, you hear another sound and another one, and they wait until everybody's played their sound. And I have to say, sometimes with students, in 2 minutes or less, because you know there's always one that holds out and says, yeah, I'm going to wait till the very end. So you might have to say that as well. But this idea of one sound is so stunning. And the idea that taking a breath and making a sound, and groups will go, they're terrified about the combinations of sounds that live together, because we live in a world of, oh no, dissonance, we can't take that. So what I usually like to say is, some sounds like people live close together, and some sounds live further apart, and the close ones really vibrate onto each other so you feel the sound. And I said, it's a wonderful thing. And I always say, in Bali, in Indonesia, and the gamelan, they tune the gamelan purposely out of tune, male, female. Think about that. One is a little higher and lower, just enough so that anytime anything gets played, that beating, that dissonance that we get so afraid of in Western culture, that beating is the life of the music. And so it's our perspective about sounds living together, and the life in Indonesia is that very dissonance. And so I say, if you change the way you think about it and think about light, sunlight shimmering on water, then your attitude, it becomes this extraordinary sonic experience. And so you don't have to be afraid of it. And you embrace it and go, wow. And like Irene said, all these sounds that live together are so extraordinary, and it's such a kinesthetic experience. So as we move on from rhythm, from simplicity, pulse, to one breath, one sound, really humanizing the music making experience. So everybody is celebrated and invited in to be music makers, to discover the genius of the music within them. Then for me, the sing what you play and play what you sing. This idea that there's a creative loop coming from inside to the outside, and then from the outside coming back inside. So we're constantly sharing authenticity in our sound, from inside, emotion, expression, feeling, and we're pulling influences and inspiration from the outside and bringing it back inside. And so a very simple way, if you have a group of participants, kids, with their brand new recorders or instruments or band instruments, or participants in a workshop of all ages, an extraordinary experience is to go around the circle and to ask the group, I'm going to sing something and I want you to play it back. And so I might do something like, or sing it, or so you're going to play it on your instrument. So if you're sitting at an instrument or just body percussion, play back what I sing. So I might go, ba, ba, boom. Or if I go, blah, 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 you might go, or on a drum, I'll show you if I went, ba, 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 up, ba, ba. So it's quite easy and pretty fun because I'm not giving any pitches or notes. And so the kids go, oh, you know, if they give a vocal call, all of a sudden this extraordinary, powerful response comes back to them in sound on their instruments. And it's always completely unpredictable and surprising. But then if you play something, you invite the group to sing it back. And so if I play something on my drum, I'm just going to invite you to sing it back.
Dum, dum, da.
Nice job, Irene.
Thank you.
If I play something, and again, keep it simple. Simplicity is the key. Authenticity, simplicity. If I play something, I have my mbira here. And so if I go, can you sing that back to me? Bum, bum, bum. How about? That's the moment that you discover around the circle. And this is people that think they're not singers. It's the moment that people discover the genius of the human voice, that this innate gift, people can sing back in the most extraordinary ways. And for 30 years, this has been to me one of the most stunning gifts of music for people. And it's the discovery that people go, oh, I did that. And you hear the whole group do it. Right, Irene?
Yes.
It's just extraordinary. And so if you're by yourself, then you can take that idea and you can begin, and I can be my duet partner with my thumb piano. So I can say, I'm going to just play a little solo here on my thumb piano. And then I find an idea, I go, I love that. That's my home. And then I'm going to take a little journey vocally over that. Sunday do da da bottom, bottom da da bottom bum. Saturday dum da da dum, dum da 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 da. Now, if I had another person, it would be even more fun to be duet partner, and then we switch roles. So now my voice finds a simple home pattern. Dum, bum, bum, bum. My mbira now goes on a journey. Bum, 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 bum. Then together, of course, we're only one person, we find the first ending and take it. Bum. So this idea of solo ostinato and ostinato, a short repeating, authentic rhythm, home rhythm, and then exploration over it is a beautiful duet form as well as a beautiful quartet form. And so these are some of the sing what you play, this creative loop from the inside outside and outside back inside. Just a beautiful, beautiful skill to develop. Irene?
So through this, what we're doing, we're creating simple patterns. So we've taken from one note, and then we take from that pulse, and then we can create these wonderful simple patterns, these human loops, I love to call them. And so having the class, so I'll start by demonstrating simple patterns. And I'll usually work it incrementally so that I never go straight to the moon, because that just terrifies so many people. So I'll start with something like this, and a call and response. Boom, boom, ba. Then I'll move it. Boom, boom, ba. Boom, boom, ba. And I'll get the whole group in locked into it. Boom, boom, ba. And then I'll choose another pattern that might interlock with it. And I'll split the group up and I'll sculpt in different parts. So I want to show you just very quickly how you can get comfortable with this on your own at home. So using a platform such as GarageBand, or a platform such as Audacity, or any kind of a looper. But I love the idea of human looping, because what I love is the idea of us being able to sustain a groove, all moving together in that universal pulse that we have created, and that we can all stay together in that pulse, and that we can actually create something very exciting. So I'll interlock very, very simple parts. So what I would love to play for you right now is a recording actually that was made by one of my McGill music education students. So as part of their homework, they had to go home and design a little groove out of simple ostinatos and then sing a small solo over it. So I'll play you this example, and this is just, I tell you, once you start doing it at home, it's way fun. You don't want to stop. And I had such beautiful recordings from my students. So Mary, double check to see if they can hear this, please.
Okay. Yeah. Da, 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 That's awesome.
And and this girl, when she started the course, pianist, classical pianist in music education, the first day she was barely making a sound. And this was the end of the semester. And she she actually led an improv for our year-end concert and just took the house down. It was just fantastic. So keeping the forms simple. And at Music for People, I was always telling the class that, quality, don't go for quantity. Quality, keep it simple. And really put that soul into it, the idea of the one quality sound and the pulse. So I think, so that we want to leave time for our question and answer.
We have one more thing, and we wanted to go through our three facilitator guides. We love the idea of threes. And yes. So wanted to give you in 3 minutes or less how you could get started and really get launched into loosening up, unlocking your creativity in the simplest of ways. And as educators and working with all different ages and as facilitators, this idea that you are educing the genius from your students. That it's not that you're pouring all the knowledge into them, because guess what? They are full of music just like you are. And that you are creating a beautiful, safe space to invite them, an inspiring space with simple tools to invite the genius to flood out of them and to be able to craft it and pour it into the world so that they really get to share who they are. And that if you love this work and you stand in front of a group and you know that you are full of music and you believe they are, that if you're inspired, they'll be inspired. So approaching it and really coming from who you are is so important. And Irene, what's the next one?
Just a moment.
Okay. So, are you there?
We have a lot of trees in bloom.
Oh, I know. In Montreal, yes.
So what I have, it basically is, it all starts with you loving what you do. And when I saw my music ed students practicing these and coming back all excited, you know, and it's to bring back that excitement in our own music making. Because if we're excited about what we do, it adds so much to the classroom. And then to meet your participants where they are, so that when, with these kinds of exercises, we really learn about where our own students come from. And it's amazing what they bring to the table. So we're not imposing something on them, and we suddenly, it's wonderful what they come up with. And as we all know, when we have a young person who's on fire with an idea, it's just, the sky's the limit, and they just go with it. And finally, believe that everyone in your group is musical. And even if that person just plays a rain stick and offers one sound, just that is huge. And so when we believe that they are musical, we carry that into the classroom when we facilitate. And this is what makes change and provides that safe space where they can dare to be themselves at every level, wherever they are, that we can find a place for their voice. And what I love about facilitation is I feel I have the most beautiful instrument in the world, which is this group of human beings.
It's so true, isn't it? Yes, and I wanted to share when I first met David Darling, just an aside, when we first started the Bunt Pan and 30 years ago, everybody bought a jam man because he was using loopers. And so everyone who was in the program, there were 20 of us, we all got a looper, like Irene was sharing. And I have gone on as a teaching artist, and I've used the looper in shows so I can go by myself and play all the instruments and show kids, oh, here's South America with all of these glorious instruments. So that looping idea, I highly recommend playing with that. It is quite extraordinary and very inspiring. So, Irene, I'd love it if I'm going to set up a few things. I'm going to post the Art of Improv information up, and I'd love it if you would speak a little bit about our upcoming program.
I will make this very fast because we want to
and then yes.
questions.
Yeah.
So yes, August 4th to 9th at State University of Fredonia, we have our Art of Improvisation intensive 5-day program. And the program features so many wonderful things. The university has a beautiful concert hall called Rausch Hall, which we have the opportunity to work in. We have a wonderful faculty. So Mary Knysh is teaching there. David Rudge, who has designed a whole improvisation course and program at SUNY Fredonia. And we also have Terry, who is a specialist in dance and movement, so brings in some movement into this. We have featured tracks on vocal improvisation, which I give, and I just love to give, which is applying music people techniques to the voice. We have opportunities for leading labs with Mary and I, so that you can really get the opportunity to jump in the circle and practice facilitating, because it's not only the materials, but how we facilitate them. And so it's a fantastic week. And here's the great news, is that because you have participated in this video seminar, you automatically have $100 off of your registration fee. So it's a fantastic workshop. I can tell you it changed my life, and I would so love nothing more than to see you there and really to live the experience physically with us. So the Art of Improvisation. And Mary has just posted the link.
The link, if you look in the chat bar, the link is, let's see, Okay. If you look in the chat bar and scroll all the way to the top, the link should be there. There's a link to both the just the handout, and then there's also a link to the workshop on our website. So just scroll back to the very beginning. I posted it when we started.
So we'll start our Q&A.
Yes. And now we're hoping that, I'm not quite sure, we haven't done the Q&A. We're hoping you can put a little flag up. If those of you that know this program Zoom know how to put a flag up, then do that. Or I'm trying to find the chat bar. My view has changed here. Ugh.
Let's see. Or you could type something in the chat bar. That can also work as well. And there is supposed to be a way for you to put up your hand. Let me just see if I can find that too. No, I don't see that. So maybe what we can do is we can work it with the chat bar. And I think if you bring up the participants, or if you do have a question, maybe you could put us all onto gallery view, Mary.
I'm trying to find, I've lost my main view here. So I can't see the chat bar. Oh.
Can you see everybody now, Mary?
No, I cannot.
Okay. And if you press on participants, we can see their list. And then if they wish to ask a question. So for example, oh my goodness, I see somebody that I saw. I'm just going to say hello to Derm. How are you?
Hi, Derm.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Very good. It's wonderful to have you. So what I did on the list is I can unmute Derm. So this way I was able to speak with him, Mary. So if you press on the participants list, this is a wonderful way for us to see participants if they would like to ask questions.
Well, the problem is, I'm sorry to say, I cannot find the main screen. All I see, I've lost my
top right-hand corner.
Upright.
You'll see gallery view from speaker view.
I see gallery and I can see everybody, but I don't have the big view.
Okay, that's fine. If we see everybody, that's good. And then maybe for participants, yes. So on the participants, yes, what you can do, I clicked on the participants list. Tell me if you see my hand raised. I just raised my hand.
I can't.
No. Okay.
Yep, we can see it.
You can see it.
Somehow, oh, there we go. Okay.
Great, so I'll lower my hand.
Okay. So
if someone wants to raise their hand or type a question into the chat bar, we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Oh,
okay, I see, I actually see here, Anna. Let's see if I can open this. Can I do this?
Okay, thank God. Okay, I found it. Okay. Sorry, everybody. All right, I now see the chat bar.
And I see 2 hands raised from Anna, and I also see one from EJ.
Okay, and so let me see if I can find Anna. Let's start with Anna, and you've got a hand raised. Okay, Anna, I'm going to unmute you, and I will feature you here. Ta-da!
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Mary.
Hi.
It's really nice to see you. I don't know if you remember me. I was doing music for people, but I don't know, 10 years ago or so.
Oh, yay. Welcome. Lovely
Hi.
to see you again, Anna.
Hi, nice to meet you, Irene.
Nice to meet you too, Anna.
Actually, my question is, it's more about participating. I live in the townships, and I was wondering, Irene, if you do any kind of facilitate workshops for people who already improvise, or if you know people in the townships who improvise. I don't really want to facilitate groups. I just want to play.
Actually, we're actually preparing a music for people workshop in Montreal, November 2nd to 3rd.
Yes.
Oh.
It was Saturday, Sunday at Concordia University.
Okay.
So we will be posting that up on the Music for People website. And we're also having a wonderful small jam session on July 21st. So if you would what I'll do is I'll take your email from the list, and
Okay.
or just write into the chat bar, please, just Irene and for Irene. And then what I'll do is I'll contact you with that information. And we're doing
Oh, that'd be great.
Wonderful.
Thanks.
You're very welcome. And I'll keep you on our mailing list.
Good.
Oh, someone doesn't see the link. Okay, let's see. Thanks for
We also have a couple of music for people. We have 6 trainees right now in Montreal. And one of them I know lives out in Chateauguay area. And then we have some who also would like to do more work outside the city. So I think there's going to be a lot of stuff moving.
Oh, that's wonderful, because I'm craving it.
Oh, great, Anna. Do we have some other people? I see. Do you use this as a warm-up in chorus?
Oh, yes.
Yes, absolutely. Irene, you want to speak to that a bit? And if you want to put your hand up, anybody, I'm happy to keep an eye out, and I'll let Irene take that for the moment.
Spotlight our speaker who asked that question.
No, I think it was Vincent, I think. And they typed it in the chat bar.
Great. Thanks, Vincent. Yes, I've done some choral workshops and I really love it. So the exact exercises with the one quality sound, the pulse to rhythm, what I've found when I've done it with choruses is, first of all, they get super excited because it develops a different kind of teamwork. It really makes the chorus members super sensitive to each other. They start to cue into each other better. They listen better. And then I work on fun things like, let's blend our different notes and let's see what comes up. And let's see if now from all of our different notes, can we join and find one note? So we do all kinds of work with these interactive ideas with chorus. And actually the choral conductors that I've done these workshops for have said, oh my gosh, the chorus were so charged afterwards at rehearsal, they couldn't wait. So I feel it builds musicianship skills, and it also builds their confidence in themselves and allows them to explore their voices in ways they may not otherwise explore them because they may be too fearful of making a mistake.
Great. Okay, anybody else? Let's see, are there any hands up? Anna's. Let's see, I'm looking here to see if we've got anyone else here in the chat bar.
I see a hand up from Kimberly.
Let me okay, I'll get to Kimberly, and let me tell you, a couple people are asking about the link. Can you scroll up in the chat bar, and I put the link in the very first thing. So you should, if you look up at the chat bar and scroll all the way up to the top, you should be able to see the link. You don't see it. I see all the no's. Okay. Let me go up and see if I can, let me see if I can copy it. And okay, I'm going to try this again. And Irene, who has their hand up?
I saw Kimberly, so in the participant list.
Okay, Kimberly, can you unmute yourself and ask us the question?
So to unmute yourself, Kimberly, if you see yourself on a screen, you should see mute. There we go.
Nope,
Great.
I found it.
Hey, hi, Kimberly.
Hi, you can call me Kim.
Okay.
So I work with an at-risk population. I run a nonprofit, and so I'm trying to get them to, I'm just so excited about what you're showing us all here because they're so intimidated. And a lot of them do not have a musical background. And so we've been doing the drums, trying to get people to, you know, it's a safe entry point. Yeah. And so I'm just wondering, do you guys ever come to the Chicagoland area or nearby? I'm so interested in doing some of this training.
Actually, we do. We even have a graduate in the Chicago area as well.
We do.
Oh, you do?
Yes, yes. And I come to Minnesota. My daughter lives out there. So we already are looking at some work out there. Okay. But Kimberly, I work a lot with at-risk populations and you're right about percussion being a really beautiful entry point. And the things I shared tonight were very much the entry point of authenticity. I noticed you nodding when I was doing it, because this home rhythm, I want to say I'm using it a lot for classroom management and a lot with at risk. The idea that a group starts with heartbeat pulse or pulse
I like
and
that.
entrainment, and then they explore. And I have a little 3-part process, but at the end of 3 explorations, they all agree upon one emergent idea that identifies the group. And so it means they give up who they are and become not just me, but we. And this is such a powerful entrainment tool and way for these groups to identify themselves and create their own cultural groove. And they have a home to return to. And even just the word home, especially with that population, is a really beautiful thing. And they've created it. It's emergent from them. So this is a really powerful way to empower them.
Yeah,
And it's
and
one of the
connect.
best tools, and to connect.
'Cause,
So
there's a lot of isolation. And,
yes, so it's a beautiful tool, and so simple.
Sound around.
Yeah, no, I loved that.
Yeah. So we'll stay in touch afterwards.
Awesome.
Definitely email, and we're happy to.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Good. We have a few more minutes.
I worked with one group of kids who were all newly arrived. Some of them were quite traumatized as well, newly arrived refugee applicants.
Yep.
And when we brought out the drums and the boom whackers, it was just, and they came out with this joyous bop, 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 and they didn't stop. And I just thought, I barely even had to put this. I just went with it.
Right.
And how they all came together, it was just so wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, each group is different too, which is really cool. But right now, I'm currently working with some teenage moms, but they're so shy and so, it's really hard to get them. I think, they feel like they can't, or they're embarrassed and all of that. But
actually, the Mbira that Mary was playing, the little thumb pianos, so beautiful, or the baby happy drums. Just so lovely, these small, very delicate instruments that no matter how you play them, they make a lovely sound.
Okay.
So something really nice. I've worked with a couple of girls with eating disorders and slowly emerged from that. Using activities similar.
Cool.
Okay. I think that we're coming close to the close. If there's any other final questions, I'm looking around for any hand raised. Let's see. I'll take it off of you there. Don't feel like, I'm still on the center. If there's anybody else, we will follow up. I'm kind of looking in the chat bar. I'll check the chat bar. You all did see that I put up the AOI information, Art of Improvisation. That is our slang, AOI for it. Is anyone else a music therapist here? You're welcome, Wendy. Let's see. We have a lot in the Music for People organization. It's a beautiful community of people that have been gathering for 30 years or more. And we have music therapists, educators, facilitators, a lot of people from the drum circle community. We sort of intertwined, which is really beautiful. I know Nellie Hill's on the call tonight, and we love from the Arthur Hall. Yay! There's all these beautiful groups of people doing similar work, and we're just really happy to share and to see what's possible to carry this work on in the world, because we think it makes a better world. We really believe that. Okay, so I think we're coming to the end here. Irene, any final statements? I think we should do a one quality sound with everybody and unmute us again just for fun.
Absolutely. And just to remember, please go to the Music for People website and have a look at our workshops and videos and resources. As well, Mary has a wonderful website, Rhythmic Connections. There will be things happening in Montreal too, which will be posted in my website and on the Music for People website. So we really hope to see you at AOI, and remember there is that $100 discount.
Yay! We love a discount. Thank you, everybody. And so what we'd love to do is, and I'm going to unmute you all just so we have a fun closing. Many times when we close a workshop, we have 3 quality sounds. One, to give to yourself for showing up. So thank you for showing up tonight. The second is to give to everyone who joined us. Thank you so much, everyone who joined us tonight. And the third is when we step out and take it out into the world. And so you may choose. You may give the sound to yourself, to us, or to take it out. But I'm going to unmute everybody, and we're going to take a breath together and celebrate this gift of music that's within each of us. So here you go. You're all unmuted. It could be crazy. We know. Thank you, everybody. It's been such a joy to have you here. And so here we go. We'll take a breath. Zoom is a little bit out of time, so it won't all be together, but it will be fun. Ready? Breathe. And one sound. And let it go. And thank you so much. We'll send your lesson plans along and other information. And what a joy to be with all of you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Nice
you.
job.
you.
Fuego.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
May
The pulse be
or
with
day, Babette, in Australia.
you. Yeah. Good day, mate.
Good day.
Yeah, you want me to phone you in the morning before I hit the road?
Oh, and I know some of you called from Europe. Thank you so much. I mean, it was terrible. That's like 2 a.m., I think.
Wow, which part of Europe?
Did anyone come? I think we had a couple people emailed me and said, what time is it going to be?
We need sisters.
So thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Going to
everybody.
end the call. Much love to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey.
Bye.
Bye. You'll get the recordings. We'll send everything to you.
Okay, Mom, got it. Bye, Granddad.